personal lesson number one is emotional cultivation. So something like looping back to what I said to you, to Roy a few minutes ago, I said, I believe that the things that people say they want, they don't really want. I believe that what people really want is to feel more positive emotions than negative emotions. So there was something that I heard in a seminar, a podcast I was watching a few weeks ago, which really made me think, and it was around this topic of emotional cultivation. And I can't remember who was speaking, but the key message they were saying is that the emotions you feel aren't things that you just randomly down, like they're not random, like you have decided to cultivate or not cultivate their emotions. If you think about your emotions like a garden, you decide to cultivate what's in your garden and you decide the emotions to cultivate. So I made a list of, based on um, this kind of seminar I was watching, because the speaker was saying, like, what emotions do you want to feel on a daily basis? And I decided to just model what the speaker said, because I was like, oh, I like their ones. And I've created a note in my phone that repeats every day, which is basically 10 emotions that I want to cultivate each day, followed by a question that says, what must I do today to live each of these emotions 100% of the time? Obviously, it's not possible for me to live them all of the time, but just by having them in a note in my phone that repeats every day reminds me to think about the emotions I'm in and not just see them as random. So if I feel anxious, I won't ignore that. We'll talk about that in a minute, but it isn't an emotion I really want to stay in. So for me to not feel negative emotions, for me to feel more positive than negative emotions, I have to intentionally choose and cultivate those emotions. So here are my 10. And then what you want to do is model some of the ones that you like, but then you want to think about what are some of your own, and then you want to have them written somewhere, or if you want to model me, put them in a note in your phone so that you can also intentionally cultivate these emotions on a daily basis. So in no particular order, and you may want to write these down, but I can share them in the group after as well. 10 emotions that I want to cultivate every day. Emotions of feeling, of being loving. So I want to be loving to everyone around me. I have to consciously think about that. I want to be grateful. I want to be appreciative. So that's kind of the same one. I want to actually cultivate the emotion of feeling appreciative for everything I've got and grateful. I want to be curious. This for me is a really good one because this is like, I feel kids are really curious. Adults often aren't. Adults are often annoyed. Why is this thing happening this way? Whereas a kid would be like, oh, this is curious. It's a puzzle. We as adults don't see our life challenges like a puzzle. Whereas if you put Lego in front of a child and they can't figure it out, yeah, they might get annoyed for a minute, but eventually they get into a state of curiosity and they start playing around and they figure it out, right? That I feel is a good state to cultivate. The emotion of excitement. I love being excited. Like when I was a kid, I was always excited, and I don't find myself as excited as I used to be. Lo and behold, I'm focusing more on the emotion of excitement, and lo and behold, I'm feeling more excited. So before coming into this session, I looked at these emotions, and one of them that triggered for me was excitement. And so therefore, when I saw, like, just to use the example, your face, Roy, I was immediately went into excitement. Would I have been excited if I hadn't decided to start cultivating that emotion? Maybe not. But because I'm intentionally thinking about that emotion, it means that I can lean into it more often. And it's an emotion that makes me feel good. Determination. I want to cultivate the emotion of determination. Really, really powerful one when building a business. Flexibility, really important one for me right now because we've just had our second child. So being flexible to lack of sleep, being flexible if things in our house don't go according to plan. That flexibility in the gym is a really, really powerful thing. Being able to touch your toes is a good thing for your body. Being mentally flexible and adapting to things not going according to plan in our house makes me feel good because then I'm expecting things to go wrong and things to take longer and things to not go according to plan. I'm expecting Sati to be emotional, or being flexible for me is a really, really good emotion to cultivate. Having courage is a really important emotion that I want to cultivate. Being cheerful or joyful is an emotion I want to cultivate. And being energized, generating energy is an emotion I want to cultivate. And also the emotion of contribution. I want to cultivate the emotion of making a difference and contributing to others.